So the other morning I was avoiding getting out of bed. I was like scrolling through Ravelry, just procrastinating getting up and getting on with my day. And as I was just randomly scrolling through Ravelry, I decided to search by the filter most projects. So as you may know, Ravelry has many different ways that you can sort and filter the results of all the patterns in Ravelry. And one of them is the most projects. Generally, when you open the Ravelry website or the Rabbit app or whatever app you're using to connect to Ravelry, it will sort it by hot right now. And so that one is the one that I'm most familiar with. Like I scroll through the hot right now all the time. I also scroll through best results all the time. That one, or best match, that one I use when I'm searching for a more specific pattern or like a more specific pattern characteristics. But I've never actually sat down and just filtered the Ravelry results by most projects. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through a pattern bundle that I created on Ravelry with patterns from that search that are like I would cast onto them today if I had all the time in the world, all the yarn that I needed, and the skills that I need to be able to complete those projects. So what I have done is I have created actually two Ravelry bundles. The first Ravelry bundle I filtered by knitting only, and then I filtered by most projects. Most projects, I believe, includes projects that have been cast onto and not finished, as well as those that are still in progress, and then of course projects that have been finished. But I believe this is a really useful way to sort your results if you are somebody who's looking for a pattern that has been knitted quite a lot, that you can scroll through other people's projects to get inspiration and ideas and information. So I'm probably going to be filtering my Ravelry search more like this in the future to make sure that I'm finding patterns that I have a lot of like options to get feedback on by looking at other people's projects, and also inspiration for color combinations and modifications you can make and stuff like that. But that's the first bundle. The second bundle, which we will go through in a future video, is also sorted by free. So it is still only knitting. We are looking at patterns with the most projects on Ravelry, but we are also looking at free patterns with the most projects on Ravelry. And that one I'm really excited to make because there was actually quite a few free patterns that I really want to make, or I had seen on the hot right now, but I didn't realize that they were free patterns. So it was just kind of exciting to see that there are options for people who would like to not purchase a pattern or maybe can't afford to or justify that expense right now. And but there's still quite a few beautiful patterns. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go through that first pattern group. As I'm pulling up my screen recording, I want to say that this bundle has 15 projects in it, or 15 patterns in it. We're just going to go through 5 today just to save some time, and because that would be an incredibly long video and I think I would get tired of talking. But we're going to go through 5 today that I really like. But if you are interested in looking at this bundle or seeing the other 10 items that are on here, go ahead and look in the description box below. I will include a link to this pattern dump. I'm calling this Ravelry Pattern Dump number 2. Ravelry Pattern Dump number 1 refers to the video I made, like the first pattern dump video I made. So I will link that above and in the description box below if you're interested in like these kinds of videos. But yeah, just keep that in mind. We're only going to go through 5, but there are 10 others that you can look up. So we are now recording as of this moment. And this is what my Ravelry Pattern Dump number 2 looks like. So we've got quite a few patterns in here, but there are 5 I want to go through. And the first one is the Stella quilt blanket. I really love the look of quilts. I think quilts are very beautiful. I'm not a big fan of making quilts. That's not my area of expertise. It's not my real interest. I will probably make another quilt for myself later on, or make a quilt for somebody else as a gift, but it's not my main hobby. It's not my main squeeze. I don't think about it all the time. However, I love the way quilts look. That I am obsessed with. And so what I would like to do is I would like to make this particular knitted blanket because it has the vibes of a quilt. It's got those traditional quilt star motifs that I love so much. Actually, I want it in the colors that are listed here or shown here. but without having to actually quilt it. I could just knit it. And from what I can tell, the pattern construction on this is you are starting with one square, either knit like in an all of the main color or half of the main color and half of, one of the other colors. And then you are picking up stitches to work on from there. And then once you have picked up stitches and done all of your squares for the whole quilt, there is a garter stitch border. So this seems like a fairly easy quilt to do as long as you understand how to pick up stitches. It seems like one you can do with scrap yarn as well. If you don't want to buy a bunch of different kinds of yarn. I think I just said different twice there. But I'm obsessed with this. So this is the Stella Quilt Blanket by Laura Penrose, and it is $9.85 US dollars. By the way, I'm going to be giving all of the prices in US dollars in this video because some of them are not in United States dollars, so keep that in mind. So this is, again, $9.85. It uses DK weight yarn. Of course, you could hold 2 strands of fingering weight together to get that DK weight, but it is a pretty simple quilt project that you can knit. You will need to be confident in working flat, picking up stitches, German short rows, increasing and decreasing, which I'm pretty comfortable with all of those things, having knit a couple of sweaters, including this one. So I'm pretty confident that I could make this. Ooh, look at this modification. That is beautiful. So anyways, I'm pretty confident I could make this. So I really want to. It'll probably be up and coming in the near future. But yeah, that's the first one. So that is the Stella Quilt Blanket by Laura Penrose. Up next, we have the Isla Scarf. And the reason I picked this one to talk about is because I have been looking for a project to knit with 100% alpaca yarn. I knit most of my garments and most of my items in a blend that includes alpaca because I love alpaca fiber. But I did recently purchase a bunch of alpaca yarn, 100% pure alpaca, and I want to knit something with it. However, from what I've read, it's not as springy as wool, like sheep's wool. So an alpaca will have a beautiful drape, but when it comes to like holding its shape or springing back up to its original shape after wearing, it doesn't do that so well. And like if you're knitting garments with it, you might want to have a blend of wool with it or some other fiber to help it get that spring back. So I feel like I can't knit a sweater, or it would be less advisable to knit a sweater with that alpaca yarn, but I would like something that I could like drape over my shoulders, like a shawl or a large scarf. And the reason I like this particular scarf is because of how wide it is. Like I really like how all of these beautiful ladies have their, like it's over their shoulders and cozy, but still like, I don't know, not like hot. I feel like it could really be warm, especially in the winter if you wore it, as an actual scarf. But in the summer, you can wear it as just like a shoulder wrap in order to keep you just like a little bit warmer, but not like super hot. I don't know. I just think this pattern is really beautiful. The Isla Scarf is by Claudia of Uknit Toronto, and this pattern is $7 US. For the most part, this pattern looks super simple. There is one element about it that I am very intimidated by, and that is the eyelets. So you can see it is stockinette stitch, and then eyelets, and then more stockinette. And so you are going to be purling going back. But the part that intimidates me the most about this is those eyelets. I have tried to knit one pattern with eyelets. I think it was a James Watts pattern and like a t-shirt, and I ended up just knitting the t-shirt, or I've only got about this much of the yoke, but I ended up just knitting the t-shirt without the eyelets because I could not get them to work out for me. It was a fingering weight yarn, which is probably part of the problem. Maybe learning eyelets on fingering weight yarn is not the best, and it really wasn't the eyelet itself that was hard. It was keeping up with the eyelet pattern that I really struggled with. But anyways, that is one thing that intimidates me about this particular scarf. I also don't love purling, so I'm not sure that I would like making an item that is this long with that much purling. But, I also like Purling, once you get into it, is really not that hard. So maybe I just need to just do it and get over my fear. But just, isn't that just beautiful? Like, look at that. There is one, let me scroll. There is one project that always gets me. Sorry, I'm just distracted looking through all those. The one that always attracts me is this one. And I think it's because she's got it laid out on the table. So you, or she, I'm making assumptions about her gender. This person has this scarf, their Isla scarf, all over the table. And so you can really see how long it is and how like squishy it is. This original scarf up here, the sample scarf, was knit in a mix of nylon and wool and silk. Yeah, so nylon mohair, not wool. Nylon mohair and silk, and you're getting that that fuzziness from that mohair. But it is a gorgeous wrap, and that you can see here. This picture is showing you the purl side of garter stitch. But I just think it's beautiful. Worsted weight, so it would knit up relatively fast, but still, you know, there are some techniques like those eyelets that I would have to, you know, practice before I committed to a whole project like that. All right, up next, we've got the Quilty cabin socks. I love them for the same reason I love that quilt blanket. I am obsessed with this like star quilt motif. If you know the name of what this motif is called, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I do not. I just know that it's beautiful and I love it. But I like these socks. I think they're really pretty. It looks like they are just a heel flap and gusset with a Kitchener stitch toe. And then you've just got this really beautiful motif around the ankle. So you can see what it looks like in different types of yarn. It looked like that other one was 2 strands maybe of like a mohair held together. But yeah, these are just beautiful. And there's so many different ways and patterns. Look at this. That is really pretty. I do like sock knitting. And I think I would really like knitting these socks. They are $5 US. The Quilty cabin socks are by Crooked River Crochet. But these are knitted socks. And just look at all of these different patterns or projects that have been made with that pattern. You've got some longer ones, some shorter ones. You've got some that only have one of the quilt motif, some that have 2 of the quilt motif, like this one. Oh, look at that. Oh, that yarn is beautiful. That brown, that's got like some variegation. Oh, so pretty. Okay, going back. But yeah, these are the Quilty cabin socks. There's really not much to say other than I want to make these and they're really pretty. And of all the projects I'm mentioning today, these are probably the ones that are going to be made the soonest because I already have yarn that I could use for this project because I have a ton of fingering weight yarn and I have a ridiculous amount of colorful like mini skeins of fingering weight yarn. So I'm well set in the yarn for that. So I will probably make the Quilty cabin socks between now and the very near future. All right, up next we've got the Boulevardier by Thea Coleman. That's a very common name. And let me see if I can figure out where it is. Oh, there it is. So this is a really pretty sweater. It has a lot of good texture. It's got what she calls popcorn stitches. And there is one particular thing that prevents me from casting onto this sweater, at least anytime in the near future, and that is because it is knit entirely flat. I have only knit sweaters in the round. I'm very partial to the like raglan pullover style sweater where you can try it on as you go. This intimidates me because not only are you seaming together all of your pieces, you can't try them on as you go because you're knitting completely flat. So that part intimidates me. I am a little intimidated by some of the textures she's got going on here, but I also think that I could learn how to do those kinds of things. But the flat is what makes me a little bit nervous. I wonder if this pattern was designed during the pandemic because of that mask. But, oh yeah, November 2020. It's a pandemic, baby. Isn't that just really pretty though? Like, look at all this beautiful texture. I have heard from a lot of people that Thea Coleman has a lot of really beautiful patterns and that she's a really good pattern writer, that she's easy to follow. I have not made a pattern by her, but I do love this texture. Like, it just looks expensive. Like, it has this expensive look to it, and I mean that in like a good way. Like, it is something beautiful that to cherish. I feel like this is like a statement piece or like a heirloom piece. But as I said, it is a completely worked flat, and then you stitch it together. It is worked from the bottom up. The body is seamed together. The collar is knit in the round. Okay, so it's not completely flat. I was wrong. The collar is knit in the round, and the sleeves are attached last, and I'm assuming that the sleeves are knit in the round. But there are just some really pretty examples of this in the projects. And this is why I like ones that have a lot of projects, because people usually, especially test knitters, will list information underneath their project. Oh, that's really pretty. That's a neat yarn. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes a problem that I will be having with fit or with needle size will be solved by somebody who has already knit the garment. So that's a life hack for you if you're new to knitting and new to Ravelry. All right, and then we are going to go to the last one, which is the Pride and Pearls cardigan. When I look at this page or this bundle, my eye is immediately drawn to the Pride and Pearls cardigan first. This is one that I believe I have saved in my Ravelry bundles many times, or like have tried to save it and then realized I've already saved it, because there's something about this sweater. I don't know if it's the color. I don't know if it's this beautiful blue building in the background that just like ties everything together. I don't know if it's the texture. I don't know if it's the yarn. I don't know what it is, but there is just something about this sweater. Like, it looks like this cardigan looks like it is the most comfortable thing you will ever wear, and that you would never want to take it off. The only thing I'm not entirely sure about is the tie at the bottom. That's the only thing that gives me pause, but I could always just not include it. That is the beauty. But then when I look at her in this one, in this outfit, I think it's really essential that she has that tie to kind of like cinch in her waist a little bit. I think it adds some interest and some more texture to the sweater. But look at that texture. So you've got texture in the front two panels of the cardigan, and then you've got what looks like baubles, or like, I don't know, I think popcorn is what Thea Coleman was referring to them as, down the sides. And then you've got, again, more beautiful texture, balloon sleeves. You know I love a balloon sleeve. It's just an absolutely gorgeous sweater. Okay, so the Pride and Pearls cardigan is by Veronica Lindberg, which should we be surprised? I also hear she has incredible patterns and that she is a beautiful pattern writer. I have heard her name many times. I have never knit something by her as of yet. It is $8.42 US dollars for this pattern. It is a sport weight pattern, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But it's kind of amazing that sport weight yarn can create that squishy of a rolled neckline. I mean, look how squishy that is. It's so squishy. Okay. Oh, look at these cables back here. That is so pretty. Oh, I have so many questions about how this is constructed. I do not know enough about knitting in general, or in cables and whatever you want to call this center diamond pattern, to have any like comments about it, other than it's really gorgeous, but it looks hard. But it's probably not that hard. I don't know. Look at the difficulty rating. Looks pretty difficult. What do we have down here? There is a full YouTube tutorial. It is a beautifully textured cardigan with a romantic twist, delicate cable bauble. It is bauble motif decorating both the back and the front. Drop shoulder balloon sleeves and I-cord tie string around the waist. It's worked top down flat. And then the body is also worked flat, is what it seems, if I'm reading that correctly. For the body, all stitches are worked flat, and the stitches for the sleeves are picked up around the armholes and worked in the round. So everything but the sleeves are worked flat, which makes sense because of the piecing together of the front. You could work in the round, but then you would have to, I can't think of what it's called, when you cut it, steek. You'd have to steek it, and this does not seem to be a steeked garment. But just look at how beautiful. Oh, wow. It's just like, I really want this cardigan. And one of these days, maybe. This looks like drops Flora with, that's probably mohair. Oh, that is really pretty. Okay. This is what the rest of the bundle looks like. If you're interested in looking into any of these particular patterns, you should absolutely do that. But I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go out and see my horse and enjoy the rest of the day. It is like 90 degrees and as humid as it can get out there today. So I am not going to be wearing this sweater, but I really wanted to wear the sweater because I like it and I made it and it's cool. But thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next week or in the upcoming weeks, I will post the version where we're gonna talk about the free patterns that I am going to or would like to knit in the near future. I know the Hermione socks are on there, and that is one that I have because one of you, thank you, recommended it to me. I have added that into my like sock bundle so that I can knit those socks very soon. I did not realize it was a free pattern. That's really cool. But anyways, I hope you have an amazing day. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a like. If you want to hang out more, please subscribe. Otherwise, take care, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!